Baseball season's underway.
Let's fucking lose it! Get out of your mind! Get out of your mind! Get out of your mind! What fuck that shit? Get out of your mind!
You better get ready for a brand new day.
And you'll ask yourself, where is my mind? Where is my mind? Where is my mind?
Hey, Chicago, what do you say?
Well, I'm going to try not to completely lose my fucking mind during this podcast. Last night, I was watching the Braves game, and I'm thinking, any minute now, I'm going to fucking lose it. I'm going to just go ahead and do a reaction podcast right now before the fucking game is over, because I was just boiling. Like, I was just simmering during this whole game, watching this fucking atrocity known as the Cubs right now. But I decided to wait till today, give it some time to sink in so I can calm down and do this podcast. So we'll see if I can get through it without losing my goddamn mind. All right, we had Hamill versus Lucas Harrell. Yeah, who's that? Lucas Harrell? I couldn't tell you. He was making his second start with the Braves. He was previously an Astro. Top of the first. It doesn't take long before, guess what? Jason Hamill shows his ugly fucking head again. Gives up a 2-run homer to Nick Markakis. More on him later. Nick Markakis came into this game with 2 home runs on the fucking season. And he promptly gives Atlanta a 2-run lead. Now the next handful of innings were just a bunch of exchanges of zeros. Not much was going on until the top of the 6th. Hamill's facing the leadoff hitter. He falls behind in the count, and it looks as though he's hurt. Something's wrong. So Madden comes out there, checks him over, talks to him. Of course, Hamill's, being like a fucking truculent child, like an impetulant turd. But he stays in the game. Like, all right, he's going to try and get out of this. He's going to fight through it. Well, he proceeds to walk that hitter. And Madden comes out there, is like, you're fucking gone. And as per usual, Jason Hamill acts like a fucking child. Again. Anytime Madden takes him out early, air quotes, he acts like a little bitch. It's like, you're not Roger Clemens, you're not Randy Johnson, Nolan Ryan, like, you're not some fucking Bulldog Hall of Fame type pitcher. You're Jason fucking Hamill. Get the fuck out of the game and shut up. And so now here comes the Cubs bullpen, which of course is scary coming to the game this early. Travis Wood comes in first, does fine. And then Kyle Hendricks, of all people, comes in. This is his last appearance before the All-Star break. He's not going to start. So, just getting in some work. Why not? He does well. Doesn't allow any runs. Now we're cruising along. Lucas Harrell is still not scored upon. Just shutting down the Cubs offense. Lucas fucking Harrell. He finally runs into a little bit of trouble. Gets taken out of the game in the 8th inning with 2 outs, actually. The next Braves relief pitcher, whose name is Cervenka, whoever the fuck that is, hits Bryant. And, well, Bryant Roger Dorned it. He kind of leaned into that pitch there. And then the following batter, he hits Rizzo unintentionally. So you got 2 on, 2 out. This is like, holy fuck. We have runners in scoring position. We have runners on again, which has been the theme for a while now. I'm going to get to that after this game. Synopsis. Zobrist comes up, has a great at-bat, pokes the ball down the right field line. Bryant comes around to score. Now you have runners on, I think it's first and third. I don't think Zobrist made it second, I believe. Still 2 outs, of course. And then Contreras, the kid, comes up and ropes a ball into center field. It short hops Inciarte and gets behind him. And holy fuck, it's a miracle. Wow, what a comeback, After all the shit through the first 7 innings of me getting pissed, here we go. The Cubs have come all the way back, and now they're winning 3-2 on what they scored a triple. It wasn't a triple. It should have been a 2 RBI single with a 2-base error. But anyway, whatever. 3-2. Whee! The inning ends right there at 3-2. Top of the ninth. Like, Rondon's coming in. Like, all right, Rondon's hasn't had a ton of saves, but he's blown his last, I think, 3, previous to this. I think he had blown 3 in a row. I'm pretty sure of it. But you're thinking, all right, it's the Braves. Like, you can close them out, right? Right? Fucking no. Markakis hits his second home run of the game. A line drive shot to right field. Markakis hasn't had a multi-home run game since 2008. He doubled his home run total in this game. He now has 4 on the season. At this point, I'm pretty fucking livid. I'm like, are you kidding me? First of all, you can't score upon Lucas goddamn Harrell. Cy Harrell. And then you cough up a lead to the Braves. Not only to the Braves, but to Markakis. You give him his second home run? Like, you gotta be fucking kidding me. I believe I think one more batter reached, and then Rondon eventually got out of the inning. So we're going into fucking the bottom of the ninth now. Of course, the Cubs don't walk off. Fast forward to the 11th. Spencer Patton is on the mound, I think working his second inning. And it's a matter of time before he just starts putting people on. And sure enough, he does. And then with 2 outs, of course, you think he might just get out of it. The Cubs can go in the bottom 11th, have a chance to walk off. Oh no, with 2 outs, he gives up a fucking base hit to Tyler Flowers. And Freeman scampers around third and slides safely in to home. Like, misses Contreras' tag by, I don't know, half a second. It's pretty close play. He was clearly safe, but that close. So, yes, the Braves take the lead in the 11th. Bottom of 11th, of course, the Cubs fucking do nothing and fucking lose their 3rd straight game in a row. First the Reds, now the Braves. What the fuck is going on? This is getting beyond stale. It has to go up from here, right? I expected a regression, a slump by this team that got into that stupid start. But now this is 3 weeks now. This is a good 3 weeks of just playing like absolute ass. And it pretty much starts with the absence of Fowler. And this is what I'm going to talk about. Why I think the Cubs are struggling. I've lamented about the bullpen. I've mentioned Fowler before. But what is it? It can't just be one thing. So I think it's those things and a couple others. First of all, Fowler is missed big time. I believe with this loss, the Cubs are now 5-13 without Fowler. 5-13. That's not what you do. And I mentioned in a previous podcast how he was the straw that stirs the drink. I'll say it again. He is. When he leads off, it slides everybody else down and deepens the lineup. And of course, his near 400 on base percentage doesn't hurt either. So that's one reason. They clearly miss Fowler. They clearly do. Secondly, of course, as I've yelled about, the bullpen. It's sad that once this became a, quote, bullpen game, I knew the Cubs were going to lose. And they're not facing Kansas City. No, they're facing the Braves. And I still knew that in a battle of bullpens that the Cubs would lose. And sure enough, they didn't disappoint. And moving on to the offense. This team cannot hit with 2 outs lately, and it cannot hit with runners in scoring position. I might be off on the exact numbers, but I think dating back to the Mets series, so within about the last week, I believe the Cubs are something like 7 for 58 with runners in scoring position. Something like that. Just god fucking awful. And if it is 7 for 58, that's about a 120 average. 120. That's not getting it done. Now let's move on to some of the position players and maybe how they're affecting it. The team as a whole is not hitting with 2 outs and risk. Fowler is missed. The bullpen. But let's go on to something else here. Hayward. Jason fucking Hayward, the $184 million man. In the offseason, I like the signing. I didn't care about the amount of money. It's not my goddamn money. I like that he was 26. I like that he's the best defensive right fielder in the game. And I was not expecting him to be fucking Babe Ruth in right field. You know, I was expecting 270, 275 average, maybe a 350 OBP, and maybe like 15 homers. And then chip in 15, 20 steals. And then play the Gold Glove defense. Fine. Perfect. Love it. Great compliment. Doesn't strike out a lot. Yes. Good. That he hasn't even come close to that. He is hitting so shitty right now. And I don't know if it's the pressure from the contract. I think it's probably more so they've changed his batting style. And Madden was quoted as saying something like, if he was 33, they wouldn't have fucked with it. But since he's 26, they want to kind of get him to change his approach. And so they're having him carry his hands a little higher. That way when he drops the barrel on lower pitches, it'll be a little easier for him, supposedly. And it might even get him to put the ball in the air a little more, which is a good thing during the summer at Wrigley. But maybe they should just, let him be him. Do you, as they say. Because he is, I think, has a below 700 OPS. Like, I could look it up, but I'm not going to. I think it's 6 something. League average is about 700. So he's just been absolutely dreadful at the plate. Absolutely dreadful. Going around the infield, Montero, I bitched at him the other day on this podcast that he's barely hitting his weight. No, he's not hitting his weight unless he weighs 197. Yeah, I saw that last night when he pinch hit. 197. He's been pretty useless at the plate. Fortunately, he doesn't play every day anymore. Let's see. What's some other weaknesses? Russell has 11 home runs, 50 RBIs just about, which is very nice for a shortstop. Those 2 counting stats, yeah, good fucking job. You're not an all-star, but yeah, he's hitting like 240. This is your second year. This is halfway through the year. You're better than 240. Everyone sees the talent. I see it when I watch him play. He's better than 240. So that's been another strain. Zobrist. He's been slumping lately. He got off to that great start, but now he's down to about 290, and that's coming from about 330, maybe just a month ago. So to have that drop, he hasn't hit well to drop from 330 to 290. That's been another issue with this slump in the past 3 weeks. Left field, Contreras and Bryant, when they're out there, okay, that's fine. They're hitting, but that's not the answer long term. Bryant needs to be at third. It's less injury risk. Contreras needs to be behind the plate. He's getting better at catching. Like, he's jabbing at the ball less when he catches it. He's, getting better at framing, Montero's thing. And he has the better arm. Clear as day. The other day, he threw to third. I can't remember if he nabbed the runner or not, but StatCast had it at a 95-mile-an-hour throw. He has the arm. So he needs to get behind the plate. Bryant needs to get back at third. LaStella needs to be the super utility guy. Instead, he's starting because of all these fucking injuries in the outfield, and Bryant has to go play outfield. So all of this, what am I babbling about? This podcast starting to run a little long. This all has culminated in this poor play in the last 3 weeks. This 5-13. The Cubs are now 19 over. And their high water mark for the season was 27 games over. They're now down to 19, which, I know, boo-hoo, hashtag first place problems. But still, like, going forward, how is this going to get corrected? Is it going to be a simple matter of getting Fowler back, getting, Soler back, just getting more healthy bodies back on the field? Or is it a matter of the starting pitching coming out of this valley and getting back to their peak because they were historically good, and now this past few weeks, I think at least about the last 10 games, the starting rotation's had an ERA over 5. So maybe it's just a matter of, they were bound to go through regression. They'll turn it around. Or the bullpen. Is the bullpen going to find internal options, or are they going to go out and pick up some arms to fix that problem? One way or another, these problems have to be fixed. I think the rotation will get back, not to historically good, but it'll get back to being good. It's not going to have a 5 ERA for the rest of the season. It's going through a rough patch right now. Fowler should return by the first game after the All-Star break, by all accounts. He starts a rehab assignment tonight. I don't think he's going to play in the All-Star game, and I hope he doesn't. That way someone that's deserving of the All-Star game, or more deserving than him, can take his place. And in the bullpen, Andrew Miller or Chapman. I don't care which. I know Cashman has said we're not trading Miller. To me, that's just general manager speak. That's all that is. If a team comes to him with the right offer, you can believe he's going to fucking trade him. There is no sense in having a reliever of his caliber on a team that's going nowhere. That's a luxury that you don't need. And even if they don't trade him, I will gladly take Chapman. I have no moral conundrum. I know he shot his gun in the air and had some physical altercation with his girlfriend or some shit, which is all bad, awful things. But I'm a second chance type of guy, and just because he's on the Cubs, I don't necessarily have to root for him. I will root for him to close out games because that means the Cubs are winning. So essentially I'm rooting for the Cubs to win instead of just him personally. So I'm perfectly fine with Chapman. I think this will all get settled. This team is not going to play 5-13 type ball the rest of the year. The division lead, I think, is down to 8 over the Cardinals, which is still a very nice cushion. So I'm calming down now. You can hear it. I was pissed about the Braves game. This weekend is a big series, actually, before the All-Star break versus Pittsburgh. Arrieta versus Lariano tonight. Arrieta has to stop the bleeding. This isn't do or die, but if Arrieta can't stop this losing streak, that's just a shot to the gut. So hopefully he gets it started right tonight, and the Cubs can get back in the win column. They do not need to go into the All-Star break losing 6 in a row. They need to take this series. I'm not saying sweep. Just take the series, get into the break, get rejuvenated. Theo, get on the fucking phones. Do what you got to do. Get players healthy. And let's go and have a great second half. All right, I'm out. I don't think I lost my mind. I don't think I did.